Hey everyone, my name is Neil Karski and I'm the CEO of Patient Engine, a seven-figure digital marketing, lead conversion, and coaching agency for high-ticket aesthetics providers. And I would like to personally welcome you to the Aesthetics Millionaires show, where we sit down with industry entrepreneurs to talk about their personal journeys and discuss proven growth strategies. My genuine hope is that through this podcast, we can create more success stories in this industry and help more business owners scale past their competition. Enjoy the show. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm welcomed today by my good friend, owner and CEO of Reawaken Life, Lennie Swearingen. Lennie, thanks so much for coming on, my friend. I appreciate it. I wanted to just dive right in and kind of talk to you about your story. And I know you own an absolutely awesome business right now in the health and wellness space. So we'll get to that in a little bit, but I wanted to talk to you about your story in the professional world. I know you've had a few entrepreneurial ventures in the past, so maybe we could start there. And then you were a client of mine for a long time with your health and wellness business in Clearwater, Florida as well. But what got you into entrepreneurship is, I think, the first question. And then what got you into health and wellness and aesthetics?
Well, I was in sales as a young man because I wasn't college educated in my early years, and sales was the best way to support a family. And banking started recruiting salespeople to be managers at a time, probably about in the late 90s. And I got into the banking industry and became vice president of business banking for the kind of the Tampa Bay area, overseeing about 25 banking centers by working my way up in sales. And in that role, we coached and helped businesses make the best decisions to be profitable and be able to grow so that we could sell them more loans and get more deposits and also help them be successful. And I realized that most of these businesses had no idea what they were doing when they went into it. They just they knew their product, but they had no idea how to sell and how to manage a business, and that was a big need out there. But also, it was also a big opportunity. So after doing that for years, I decided to start my own businesses and jump in there. So I went with whatever door was open, and believe it or not, I don't even know if you know this about me. At church, I had a guy who used to sing backups for R. Kelly before his arrest, and he wanted to do a gospel album. And he didn't trust anybody in the industry. He knew I knew contracts, even though they were business contracts; they weren't legal. So he had me be his manager, and I thought it would be fun on the weekends because the guy could really sing. And ended up booking him in a bunch of shows, and I ended up having to oversee an entire concert that was huge at like Amalie Arena, and even did a couple of recording projects and a major, well, in gospel music it was major. Sony Sound Records out of Chicago actually came to me and ended up hiring me as their chief operating officer, and I created a company alongside of it called American Gospel Entertainment. And the entertainment side, my company, did the management, the bookings, the tour management, and all that kind of stuff. And I kind of toured the world and did gospel music for like 5-6 years. I even did the Super Bowl with Faith Hill and Jennifer Hudson. I put the choir together that sang with them and did that show. I did the Disney Christmas Day Parade with Jessica Simpson with the Harlem Gospel Choir. I did the longest running Christian show in Disney history when we did 3 shows a day for 30 straight days at Disney World in Orlando, Florida, and did all kinds of tours and stuff. And that was my first entry, and then Sony Records bought us out.
Let me ask you, in your sales career, what made you a good salesperson, Lennie? Because I think sales is a skill; it's not an inherited trait. So, what made you a good salesperson that allowed you to be successful in that?
Well, I don't really consider myself a salesperson. I consider myself a listener, and I think it's the biggest difference between really good, successful, large scale sales instead of just your successful normal sales, car sales guy. Um, your normal salespeople just sell you a product or are good at that product and they know everything about that product and they know how to overcome objections. My set is I actually talk to the person and listen to them. And depending on what they say in my head while they're speaking to me, I'm matching what I do to what they need. And then I present that in their own words and take care of the client in a way that is exactly what they're looking for instead of what I'm trying to push. And I think that is what makes me good at sales in my lifetime to this level so far.
Yeah, that's important. Cool. What?
Even
Go
even when I
ahead.
did business, most business bankers would go in and they would talk to the business about what they could do for them and let me compare your merchant services accounts. And I would just say, what got you into this business? What made you successful? I know you had to struggle. What was your biggest objection to like get where you're at? And I'd be listening and taking notes. And then where do you see yourself in a few years? And what's your biggest objection to get there? And then I would match everything I have to make that journey easier to help that client. So there you go.
Beautiful. Let's talk about your venture into health, wellness, and aesthetics.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about Hydrate and Heal. How did you get into that business? How did you start it? Let's talk about the early days, the ideation, the vision, the goals.
Well, I built a multi-million-dollar home inspection company and sold it after the Sony Sound Records. And me and my wife were looking for something to do that we had a passion for.
Wait, let's
And we had,
rewind. Let's rewind. Let's rewind a little bit. I don't think I knew that. Let's talk about this company, right? Let's talk about what kind of a business model was it? What did you learn? Because that all stacks up in your journey, right? Every
yeah.
venture you have, whether it's, in this case, I talked to a bunch of entrepreneurs. So entrepreneurial venture brings a lot of lessons, a lot of growth, a lot of ideas, and paves the way for the next thing. So what was that business? What did you learn? Let's talk about that.
Well, that one was after Sony Records bought us out. And because I had the relationship, I kind of got screwed on that deal a little bit. So I was thinking about what I could do next. And I was driving and heard about becoming a certified home inspector. And I was remembering to my banking days of all the mortgages and all the things that were delayed because of inspections and other things that weren't running smoothly and how badly ran they were and how there was a need there. And I knew so many mortgage brokers and realtors from those days that I said, I could fix that need. And so we started the home inspection company as a company that inspects the home like it's our own. And started it from scratch, and then 7 years later, we are the largest in Tampa Bay and the only official home inspection company in the state of Florida for several cities. We were the official home inspector for the city of Tampa, Clearwater, and St. Pete, and I think Largo as well. And built that to a certain size to where my dad wanted to retire. And I was kind of at that point where what's next? And so we sold it. And then, we're at this point. But the need was creating a company that was professional, that got the inspection done in the same day, that provided warranties with it, that also understood its base. We had our client, which was the person buying the house, which you needed to find everything you could for them and make it as safe for them to purchase as possible. But then you also had the realtor whose livelihood depended on an inspector doing things the right way. And what I mean by that is just communicating properly so that an inspector isn't killing deals that don't need to be killed. And the easy example I can give of that is if you did an inspection for someone who's a little nervous and it has a 2-year-old roof on it that has 20 years life left in it, but a tree caused a hole in the northeast corner that caused the leak that's very minor, it can be fixed. If you start the inspection with, hey, I inspected the roof and you have a leak in your northeast corner, the client stopped listening to you. And all they're thinking is that's $20,000 for a new roof. I wonder if the house I looked at last week is still available. They're no longer hearing you say the rest of it, which is the rest of the roof is in great shape and it's a minor repair. But if you did that same inspection and said, hey, I took a look at the roof. It's only 2 years old. It's in great shape. It has over 20 years life left in it. But a tree put a small little hole in the northeast corner that caused a leak that needs to be fixed, but it's very minor to fix and easy to do. You didn't kill the deal, but you still let the customer know about the issue. So it was the psychology of how to do the walkthroughs and speak to people that made us different to where we weren't there to scare them or make ourselves feel needed by killing every single deal. But giving an informed decision that helped both sides make the right decision. And that was that company.
Very cool. Very cool
Yeah.
experience.
And
Okay.
I think you'll find the consensus is always finding a need that helps everyone that's involved, from banking to the gospel music stuff to home inspections to where we are now.
So you started Hydrate and Heal when 2021?
I think so.
Yeah, it's been a while.
And we
Last few
started it
years.
because my wife got really sick, and we spent a
Well,
year going to
let's talk
doctors.
about that. Let's talk about that because the guest I had on earlier said he was saying that his wife was feeling bad. They went into a wellness business, got an IV, cryo, all that stuff, and then was like, hey, I want to bring this to our market. So what's that story for you?
Well, our story was we didn't really know a lot about holistic, although my wife was really in organic and all that kind of stuff. But she wasn't feeling well, and she was losing weight, and she was having trouble sleeping. And we started going to doctors, and for a year, they told her it was in her head, nothing was wrong with her, and she got sicker and sicker. Till one day, I found her passed out on the floor, rushed her to the hospital, and if I would have gotten her there 30 minutes later, she would be dead today. She wouldn't be with us. She spent 2 weeks in the hospital. When she was released, she started to feel bad again in 3 days. So at that point, we decided to try a holistic doctor. That doctor did that kind of stuff, the ozone and the IVs and all that stuff, and cured her. And but we found out they overcharged us by over $10,000, and we're using scare tactics to get us to do stuff that we didn't need. Because we're the type, when something works, we want to know everything about it. So we knew, they overcharged us, and they're double charging us for this that's not needed. And at that point, we decided, you know what? We were looking for a business to start, and now we have a passion for this. And we wanted to create a business where people could be listened to, not treated like numbers, and taken care of. And then on the flip side, also not overcharged. So Hydrate and Born was born to be a place to where you could be listened to, treated like a human being, and cared for, and not overcharged. And that was our motto. But about 5 months in, we were almost going out of business because 180% of our cost was the medical side, and 100% of our profit was the body sculpting side, which we added just for a way to get people in for the medical. And that's when I decided to come up with an idea to create something to where we could still offer the medical without the expense, and throw the rest of the money we had into some marketing and bring someone in that really knew what they were doing, aka you, and we grew it to a seven-figure med spa by eliminating that cost and investing money the right way with the passion of taking care of the clients. That's how we were able to get to a seven-figure med spa. And then we sold that. We were the number one med spa in the state of Florida for cryo sales, and the number one med spa in the state of Florida for cherry loans as an individual clinic, to show how we grew in that year. And when we developed that program, when we sold it, everyone wanted to know what that program was. In the last few years, we've been tweaking it, developing it, making it better. And now it's where it's at now is actually where it needs to be. It's the perfect combination to be able to give people the ability to get into this industry without having all the money sucked out of them. And we'll get into that in a little bit, I guess.
Yeah, we will. Yeah, you kind of fast forward through your story, which is a really cool story. So I want to highlight a few things. So I think you bring up a really good point, right? Like medical stuff, while necessary and essential for a medical spa, typically carries a lot of consumables. It's and it's typically labor heavy because you have to have an NP who usually administers it too in some capacity. So while medical, I think, is a great way to help people and get a lot of people in, the aesthetic side of things is not only you can help people look and feel better, but also that's where you kind of make your profits, right? So let's talk about that a little bit. And I really appreciate what you said. You said, hey, we started investing in a marketing to bring people in for body sculpting, help them get a nice high ticket sale, get a nice margin, and then introduce them to our other services. So you were being very intentional with your marketing dollars to get that short-term return on investment, but then you had a client, you close them, you converted them into a customer of a Hydrate and Heal, and then you're like, hey, listen, I can also help you with X, Y, and Z. And I know you were big on your sales process and your customer journey. So let's talk about that a little bit, because I think that's really important for everybody to hear who's listening to this.
Well, I think in the med spa industry, it's very important to have the medical side. It is not your biggest revenue off the bat, but what it does is it helps you close more on the body sculpting side because it creates a trust. You're not just a body sculpting company that has some estheticians that has no expertise in anything else. This is in the customer's mind, not my perception of you. It's you are a medical facility that can do more for them. And when you are doing your consultations and you're listening to the clients and you're talking to them and finding out more about them, one, that's rapport. So you're building a rapport and a trust with the client. Two, when they're letting you know things that they're going through and you have that medical expertise side of things to where you know certain things help and be able to offer that, whether they accept it or not, the validation that you are more than just a med spa. Although there's nothing wrong with a med spa, but being more than get you higher ticket priced items and get you more clients who trust you more than they would if you weren't. And I found that value more than anything else when we were talking to people and we would mention certain things that would help them with things that they were going through. Whether they bought it or not, they bought more body sculpting services from us and referred us more clients because of the trust that they had in us and the fact that they viewed us as experts in the field instead of just a really cool place that gets results on body sculpting. It really does give a full circle of taking care of a client.
Yeah. Let's talk about, you were always big on being able to outspend your competitors on marketing. I'm huge on that. Obviously, that's how I was able to get my spa to where it is in its first year without having any sort of blueprint in the local market. Let's talk about that a little bit and just emphasize and highlight the importance of investing. I mean, you and I both are big paid ads advocates, so talk about that for any business who's looking to grow. Because in my opinion, the paid ads is like, it's all roads will lead there eventually, right? Like whether you grow it organically and then you're like doing great and it's a long road, you probably end up in paid ads, right? So you want to touch on that a little bit?
Yeah, as a former business banker and coaching businesses on how to grow and evaluate themselves, if you're not doing ROI assessments on your company, you shouldn't be running a business. If you're not doing it now, you need to start doing it. You could be selling products that are losing you money. So why are you selling them? You could be doing things that have no return on the investment you're giving. And social media marketing with the right companies is a huge return on investment if you know how to work it and you work it well. But you have to know this, and you have to know which marketing is an ROI and which marketing helps something with an ROI. We did a lot of local stuff that was inexpensive, didn't have a huge return on any of that, but it wasn't a big expense. But what it did is when people saw our social media ads that had the big ROI, and they saw us on a local restaurant on their TV ad in the corner, or they saw us at a local event that cost us $25 to have a booth, and then they seen the social media ad, they mentally like, I've seen that company. And marketing is a 360 degree. You need to do your cheap stuff and your guerrilla marketing, but you really need to invest in the right company to actually get your name out there and get people in the door. And when they come in the door, you need to be able to cultivate them and not throw that investment away. You need to know how much it costs you for each person to come in that door, and then what you got to do to turn that money into, instead of a loss, a profit. And if you're just doing the minimum and selling what was on the ad and not selling packages and not getting them to come back, you're just throwing your money out the door. So you need to work the leads as well. It isn't and Neil didn't pay me to do this, and he's going to love that I say it. It's not a social media marketing company's job to close your deals. It's yours. It's their job to get them in the door, and the rest is yours. And if you're not doing or have any type of thing set up that helps them, then that is on you. And I did something on mine is I took the ad, and what were the ads, like 199 for one treatment kind of thing to come in, and I would do an ad where they got an extra treatment if they came in this month or whatever. So if I had like rapid reboots that cost me nothing to do a treatment. I had the Soluma treatment that cost really nothing. I also had some B12 shots that really were only $5. And I would throw those in. But when they came in, I would do my consultation. I would get to know them. I would sell them the package that bundled package that was perfect for them. If they didn't want to do it and they only wanted to do the one off, I would do the one. But their second treatment they didn't get same day. We couldn't do 2 treatments in one day. It's not good for the body, is what I would tell them, and which normally is true. I would schedule them for the second appointment, and then I'd have another chance to close them on the second one. And then if I didn't close them then, I had a monthly client appreciation night, which the machines would give me a tonight only deal that I didn't know what it was until the night of the client appreciation night. And I would invite them to that. And every client appreciation night, I would have my favorite clients who absolutely loved me at every single one of them. And I'd have free food and hors d'oeuvres and giveaways. And that way, when that client who was on the fence came back for the third time for the free food and the giveaways and the tonight only deals, they got to mingle with people who loved our services and treatments and got to hear it from someone else other than us. And then we got to close them. We usually did $10,000-$15,000 in closings on our client appreciation nights. So that's 3 shots to close one deal. And if you're only taking 1 shot, that's on you.
Wow. Yeah. I remember we covered this many times. It's so important. And we're like, the deal is not, I mean, the sale is not lost until it's an absolute no or leave me alone.
Right.
But yeah, but no, you bring up such a good point. It's like, hey, this is a customer who needs help. They're there. Let's not give up on them. Let's get them in for another visit, or if let's at least follow up, see how they're doing. Let's get them in for another visit. Let's have an opportunity to build that relationship trust, and then we could potentially sell them. And then I love another one of my clients is they do appreciation events as well, and special get-togethers where clients mingle and they bring their friends and family, and it's a great way to just introduce your services to other people. And you have your brand advocates there who are your existing clients who are getting amazing results as well. So it makes a lot of sense. But I love that you emphasize the fact that's like, hey, I'm going to do my best to help this client, meaning I have to sell them, because if I can't sell them, I can't help them. So I'm going to give myself as many opportunities as possible to build that relationship and then sell them, which I think is awesome. You say like, hey, emphasizing the fact it's like, don't give up. Like, don't give up. That's 1. And 2, once you have them in the door, do an absolutely amazing job to make sure that that they actually say yes to you during that first visit.
They went on social media. They clicked on your ad. They answered they called or sent in their information, and they scheduled their appointment. So you don't have to be afraid to sell them or give them the presentation. This is what they asked for, right? And be honest. If you have someone that is extremely overweight and cryoskin isn't for them because their BMI is too much, let them know, hey, we need to get you on a medical weight loss drug. Get you on it for a few months, get your weight down, and then start you on the cryo so you don't start getting the saggy skin. But let's hold off on that for right now. Let's get you on a treatment that can help you get the weight down. And let's get you some other things that will help you get there. And they'll love the fact that you're taking some things away that you could have charged them if they were looking to buy, if they don't need it. Because the worst thing you could do is sell someone something they don't need, and it doesn't have an effect, because then they're going to tell everyone that it's a ripoff and don't go there. But if you tell someone, hey, I know you want to spend $5,000, but let's just do 2 right now, and we'll hold off on that 3 because I need to get your weight down for this other service to actually work. And then they get the results. They are going to tell everyone about you, and you'll grow your business that way as well.
I like that. Yeah.
Very hard to do when you have rent to pay, but you got to do it.
Yeah. Saying no to have your client's best interest at heart and getting just them better results. Or if you can't help them, you can't help them, right? Don't pretend
Right.
like you can help them.
Can't help
Uh,
everybody.
yeah.
And
So,
scrub your zip codes. When you have a social media marketing, they don't know your city. Um, and if you're getting people in that only want the 199 or get it for half off, or try to get you down even on that because they don't have more than $200 in their checking account for the next 3 months, which area codes in your area are affluent that can afford your services and which ones can't. So scrub your zip codes in your social media marketing. Make sure you're marketing to the clientele that you're looking to have into your clinic that can afford your services.
yep, 1000%. Um, so you, I think you brought your sales background a lot to Hydrant and Heal, which is great, and because it allowed you to build a nice customer base. Um, what other besides that, and having a good consultation process and your appreciation events, what other things did you implement that helped that business grow before you sold it, that we should emphasize and focus on?
uh, Outside of there's all the marketing stuff you can do, and getting with local like-minded businesses and referring to each other. Not BNI, that's expensive and to me a waste of time. Sorry, anyone who loves BNI, but I don't have time for BNI. But if you find some holistic or like-minded type of companies, you get together once a week for breakfast. You find out what each other's looking for, what they need. You get their marketing materials, they get yours, and you set it up in your lobby, and they set it up in theirs. You create a referral fee that you pay each other. You create client appreciation nights where they sponsor it and come to it. Those are great ways to build the community. If you ever do an event where you get people to sponsor, you need to make sure your sponsors are taken care of. And the best way to do that, because I've heard this from others that when I did them, they're like, this is the best one I've ever done. Normally people don't come to my table. You get prize giveaways, right? At the end of the night, you're going to give a prize giveaway. So when everyone comes in, you get a little sheet made up and it has stations. And you put little station numbers on everywhere where you have your vendors and your machines because you want to highlight all your stuff. They have to go around to those stations and have someone sign it and talk to them about it and then turn that in fully signed to be able to be entered into the drawing to win a prize. That guarantees every person that comes to your event will go speak to your sponsors at their tables. And then they will sponsor every single thing you ever have. And then one thing that I have seen in this industry and in all industries is you don't educate yourself. You do the initial training for your machines and you get caught in the marketing and the day-to-day running, but you're not staying on top of current events. You're not learning more about the treatments. You're not hearing things in the news. You need to be an expert in your field. And to do that, you need to be studying about your field every single day. You need to know what's going on in your field. You need to be ahead of it. So if a client brings it up, you're ready. And you need to be educating your staff, if you have one, about what's going on so that they are ready for it as well. The worst thing you can be is uneducated in your field. It will be the fastest line to going out of business than anything else. You could spend hundreds of thousands on marketing and everything else, but you're not ever going to get repeat business. You're just going to get that initial because everyone's going to know they know more than you from the research that they've done.
Mm. And you're not going to be able to get your clients the best results.
You don't have to sell the big packages if you don't know what you're talking about.
So I know you decided to sell the business, and I know there's some challenges in that process, but for anybody who's like thinking about potentially selling their business, or what kind of advice can you give as well? Because I know I have clients who have thought about it. We're gonna have listeners who I'm sure are thinking about it as well. What kind of advice would you give to how to best approach it, so you can do it the right way?
One, I know we're all business owners. So if the idea in your head is to sell your business at some point, stop writing everything off. Pay taxes. You're going to need to show income to get value for your business. And not everything can be added back in, so you need to show it. A lot of us like to hide everything so we don't have to pay Uncle Sam. So if you're going to sell it, you need 2 years of showing it and paying some ridiculous amount of taxes. That's number one. Number two, you need to hire yourself a really good broker that specializes in business brokering. They will be able to find qualified candidates that are looking for your business. It's a very high-end business that people want to get into. But those are the two biggest points I can give when you're trying to sell your business. You need to pay your taxes and show your
The
actual
best
profit.
valuation, yeah.
Yeah, so you can have a good evaluation, and you need a good broker that can broker the deal for you. You do not have to pay that brokerage fee.
Gotcha. Cool. Let's transition to the next step here.
Yep.
To your new venture. It's called Reawaken Life. Let's hear about it. Let's hear about what the business does, who it serves, how it's different than similar organizations. I know you've been working on it for over a year now, and it's grown a lot. So let's dive into that.
Well, when I ran Hydrate and Heal, everyone and their mama would call every other day, buy this product, buy this marketing, buy this, and you'll do this. But not too many would say, hey, we'll do this with you and we'll get paid when it actually works. Everyone wants to take, right? When it came to the medical side, it cost me $20,000 a month on the medical side when I was doing it myself. And that's $20,000 in medical sales I have to do just to break even. Medical director was like $2,500 back then. I know you can get them for as low as like $900 now. But the nurse practitioner was 10 grand a month. They're $120,000 a year. The insurance went up from regular med spa to having the injections of $2,500 a month increase in my insurance liability. And then the EMR site that I had to have, the good ones, the minimum good ones are $500 a month. It's a lot of money there that's invested into it. And then you have your inventory and everything else that you have to do, and your needles and your alcohol pads and all the sterile stuff in the sterile room and all that kind of stuff adds up. So we wanted to create a company to where there was a one-time fee to join and get certified and trained that has ongoing training and ongoing access that then never charges you anything ever again. No medical director needed, no nurses needed, no inventory needed, no insurance needed, no EMR needed, no liability. Just pure profit. We have med spas making $260,000 a year on our commissions only. Plus what they're doing on the body sculpting. We even have some sold their body sculpting and med spa companies and only do this now from their home. And what we do, and I know you're thinking, how can that be legal?
Let's get into that.
We are an MSO company, Management Services Organization. We partner with a medical group that is our medical group, says they're Reawaken Life, but they are separate. 25,000 in-network doctors serving 300,000 patients a month. As an MSO, we provide the marketing, the technology, the customer service, and the client acquisition for them, and they pay us a fee. From those fees, we pay a commission on the fee income generated from the services we provide to our certified patient coordinators. So you're not really making commission on sales, you're making commission on the fee income generated from the sales those provide to our medical staff. And then we have an app. Everything is done through the app. The sale is as easy as putting in their name, email, cell phone, and what they're looking to buy. Everything else is done through the app. The Zoom call is done through the app. The payment's done through it. The medical team does all the customer service and all the answers. They're available 7 days a week, 7 to 7. There's a chat line. There's a customer portal, a patient portal in the app where they can see their orders and tracking numbers. They can chat with the doctors. They can schedule calls with the doctors. They can schedule video calls with the doctors on the app. They don't have to download Zoom. And they handle all the customer service, and anything that is beyond the medical and the pharmaceutical, they send to us to be able to answer. And then your job is to do the initial consultation based on the training and check in on them every 30 days. Have them come in. If you have a brick and mortar, have them come into your office, weigh them, scan them, ask them any details. If they give you anything that's pertinent for the doctor to know, add it into the notes through the app, update their weight in the app. And our goal for you is to provide you an ability to make money without money coming out of your pocket. and to provide a better service to your clients, because we're not a fly-by-night online company. We're a medical company with medical directors with nutrition coaching. All of our services come with nutrition or with coaching for the first 2 months on how to use the medication and what foods to eat and what foods to stay away from. We have a supplement being specifically made that'll be ready in a few months for GLP-1s that's all holistic. Our goal is to get them off the medication eventually, and only to our supplements. And then we also have peptides, hormone, TRT, HRT, sexual health stuff, all that is in there. So for you, we provide all that ability to sell all those medical things and provide that medical service and make commission only without money out of your pocket. And for your client, we provide the best doctor service available without the doctor pricing, but not the cheap pricing of the stuff that hurts people, that has water additives, salt additives from the compounding pharmacies that are banned in 6 states and have other issues. It's the high quality stuff. We don't deal with pharmacies. We actually only deal with the medical group who are contracted with FDA approved, legit script certified, sterile pharmaceutical manufacturers. Those manufacturers have contracts with FDA approved, legit script certified sterile pharmacies that are certified and trained on how to mix it to the manufacturer's guidelines. So even if that pharmacy does compounding, when it makes ours, it's making it to the manufacturing guidelines, not the compounding guidelines, which makes it the higher grade medical quality, and also makes it to where if the shortage list causes compounding pharmacies not to be able to supply it anymore, we will still be able to, because it is specifically made for each client, and each client gets touched by their doctor every 30 days. And their prescription is specific to them. It's not 1,000 batches of 5 milligram that go to anyone who actually calls and wants it. It's specifically made for the client and changes monthly based on their need. And so that's what we do. We empower the health. We transform. No, I said it right. We empower the health of your clients while transforming your wealth.
Okay, so this is good for any med spa that maybe hasn't evolved on the medical side. Any wellness business, health and wellness business is looking to add those, like you said, hormones, peptides, or medical weight loss.
GLP-1s.
Yeah, the GLP-1s to be able to get their clients better results and obviously just make more revenue.
Can I say something on that real quick?
Yeah, for sure.
I know a lot of our med spas and chiropractors and stuff like that are on the holistic mind, and they want to stay away from the GLP-1s because they hear certain things. We were a holistic clinic, and I want to share the story of why we switched to it and what our thoughts are on it, even though we are holistic minded, because we don't want them to be on the medication forever. But we had a couple of clients that were overweight, that had heart issues, and that were on type 2 diabetics and needed to lose weight. And we started them off with like the EMS machines, and we had a personal trainer that was working with them, and we even had a food meal plan and had them on. And we had 2 clients that lost weight. They both died of heart attacks. They didn't finish the treatments. If we would have had a GLP-1 and had them lose 40 to 50 pounds in those 2 months instead of 10, would they be alive with us today? I don't know. But I think they would have had a better shot, because it's proven that people that have heart conditions or stroke conditions are 20% less while they're on a GLP-1 than without it. And this drug has been around for over 20 years, and the side effects are very minimal if you're coaching them on how to take the right supplements, daily vitamins, foods to eat, and foods to stay away from the exercise they have to do. The muscle loss, the bone density loss, and the vitamin deficiency is only because companies are not coaching them with what they need to do to not have those things. And those things happen.
So how do you guys at Reawaken Life, let's touch on that a little bit, because I think it's a good thing to know. How do you guys empower and educate and train your patient coordinators so that are helping to get their patients or clients the best results, aside from providing them with access to physicians?
Well, the number one thing is in the training. They do an online training. They do a Zoom call. We have a private Facebook page that we're doing morning huddles 3 days a week, where we're always adding more training and stuff to it. But in the training that they get, we have a patient coordinator consultation form that's about 6 pages long. It's only 2 pages to fill out. The rest is information that you go over and give to the client. And that really goes over their daily water intake, their exercise, and their other things. But in that forms that they take home, it's the foods to stay away from, the foods that they can eat, the until our supplement line is ready, which it's built, but it takes 5 months for a supplement maker to build a line for us. So we're waiting for that build out. But until then, we have a page on there that gives them the supplements they can buy to take, their vitamins, the magnesium, the high quality protein powder, so they don't have those issues of vitamin deficiency, muscle loss, and bone density loss. If they take the right vitamins, they take the right supplements, they do the right exercises, and they eat the right foods, they won't have it. So we train each patient coordinator in the certification on what that is, and we're constantly coaching that. And on top of that, when they do buy it, the medical facilities for the first 2 months go over that with them over and over again as well. So the client knows what to do. They're not just ordering online, getting it sent to them after a 30-second Zoom call, and no one ever talks to them again and tells them what to do, and they're just shooting it up themselves in their home. This is ongoing care, and this is the 3-ring that we provide. Our supplement and nutrition, along with Samoralin and peptides that help with muscle gain, along with the patient coordinator there to talk to them and guide them and see them every 30 days. It's very important that they do that. I could have made a lot more money doing this online and through a telephone and stuff instead of paying half the 80% of the commissions out to the patient coordinators, but I wanted the client to be taken care of properly. And that's always been the motto of my career from the beginning to now, is the client has to be taken care of. And if you do that, and you do that the right way, you have longevity in anything that you do, and you can also sleep at night. And we don't want the clients to have side effects. We don't want the clients to not have results. We want them to be taken care of. We want them to be listened to. We want them taken care of. We do not want them to end up like my wife did, where they were ignored. And that's the point of this program. It empowers you to make money that you can't make without it. Saves you over $100,000 a year in medical fees while making several $100,000 on taking care of your clients. And you can trust that your clients will really be taken care of and cared for.
Very good. What's next for Reawaken Life for everybody listening?
Well, we're in all 50 states. The supplements will be done in 4 months. It'll be the first specifically made supplement for GLP-1s. It'll be all natural, all holistic. It'll minimize all the side effects and maximize the benefits. And there'll be a supplement that after they're done with the GLP-1, they can add to their supplement package that has natural building GLP-1s in it and appetite suppression, so they don't gain the weight back when they're off of the medication. So they can maintain that health for the rest of their life. We're expanding to Canada, South America, and Australia by end of year or beginning of next year. So it'll be international soon. We are 50 states, so we can do California. And if you don't have a brick and mortar, we have 2 divisions. We have a division to where you can be an individual doing it, or a brick and mortar. And with the individuals, we can even help you build sales teams. And on the brick and mortar, we can also help you build regional sales teams that will help your med spa and you make more income and reach more people.
Yeah,
So
and
we have
not just
multiple
not
options.
just a med spa, right? Or any your health and wellness and aesthetics business.
Yeah,
Because-
chiropractor, gym, personal trainer, physical therapist, health coach. Yes, we have coaching, but it's not the same as life and health coaching. It's coaching for the medicine, right? They get 2 months of coaching of what foods to eat, what foods to stay away from, the exercise they need to do while they're on the medicine. But life and health coaches can still work with this because they can still provide all the other things of the mental aspects and the daily activities and stuff that life and health coaches help people get through.
All right, let's get in a couple fun questions, just totally off unrelated questions. Those are my favorite. What is your favorite non-luxury brand that you feel like should be conceived as a luxury brand that you like?
In what?
Whatever you want. Whatever is it. It can be clothing, can be apparel, it can be cars.
I love my golden gooses because I have bad feet. I love watches, but it doesn't have to be a Rolex. I love Bulovas. They're fantastic watches. That's one of my favorites, and they're as high quality as the high stuff, but don't run more than $300-400.
There you go.
Those are nice watches.
And then what is a trash movie that you absolutely love?
Billy Madison.
Very good. As we wrap up, Lenny, we appreciate you being here and sharing your story and talking about more about your businesses. Where can people find you or Rewaken Life?
Rewakenlife.com. REWAKENLIFE.com.
Awesome. All right, guys, rewakenlife.com. Lennie Swearingen, absolutely amazing entrepreneur story. Thank you so much for coming on, Lenny.